Hello, my name is Jamie Mackay, and I will be going over the basics of the electric guitar today, and we'll be going over the functionality of each component of the guitar. So, what I'm going to do is start with the neck. The neck is this long protruding part of the guitar, where the strings run up, and at the top of the neck we have the headstock, which is where you'll find the tuners, the tuning pegs, which are a very essential part of the guitar. It's what's going to keep your guitar in tune. You don't want to be on stage with a band out of tune when the rest of your band are in tune. It will not sound good. So yeah, very vital part of the guitar. And basically, if you turn these one way, you'll decrease the note. And if you tune it the other way, it'll increase the pitch. So when you go below the pitch, it's flattening, and when you go above, it's sharpening. So it's back in tune. So that's what these do. And as we come down, we get to the nut, which it's made of different things. This is, I think, made of bone. You can get ones made of plastic. You can get ones made of metal. And what essentially it does is it just holds the height of the strings, and keeps the distance of the strings the same on its way to the tuners. As we go down, we will see these little metal pieces that have been implanted into the guitar neck, and they're called the frets. While this top bit of wood, you can see the different colour, hopefully, the different woods. Let's see it there. This is the fretboard, and because this is what the frets are punctured into. So, what these frets essentially do, they're essentially just separating the notes as we go up the guitar neck. So, this is our first fret, second fret, third fret, fourth fret, etc. And as you can hear, it's increasing the pitch, the note. What we don't want to do is play on the fret. You can hear how that is choking out. It chokes the note, and it doesn't sound good. You want to place your finger between the frets. So that sounds much better than... Yeah. So that's what we want to do with our fingers when it comes to finger placement, is play between the frets. What also you might notice is these little dots. These are fret inlays, and it's really just an indication, a visual guide for you when you're playing guitar. Pretty much all guitars have them, and they're almost always on the 3rd, 5th, 7th, 9th, and 12th fret. And what happens when we get to the 12th fret is we reach our octave. There's 12 notes on the guitar, or really any music. After the 12th fret, the notes just repeat themselves. And so do the inlays. So instead of the third, starting on the 3rd, 5th, 7th, you'll now find them on the 15th, 17th, 19th, and 21st fret. This guitar has 22 frets. Some only have 21. Some have 24. Some have much, much more. But commonly, 22 frets is a nice starting point. And one of the things that you can't see in the neck is what is called the truss rod, which is a metal rod which runs up inside the neck. And what this does is it helps hold the tension of the neck. So there is a little hole there just above the nut you might be able to see, and you can twist this with an Allen key, and it's going to either pull the neck backwards, so bow it backwards, so like the tension will decrease or increase, sorry, in one of the two directions. So either go this way or this way, and that's going to help with setting up the guitar and intonation. But we'll talk about intonation in a little bit. So yeah, so as we get to the body now, we'll see that this guitar is the neck is held into the body. This is the body by 4 bolts, 4 screws. Some guitars are glued in. Some guitars are actually the neck is part of the body. And so that brings us really to the most important part of the guitar besides the tuners, which keep things in tune. We get the pickups. And so that's these 3 things here. The little metal circles in this little white casing, this little white casing. And what pickups are essentially, it's a little magnet, and under the casing is copper wire. And what this does is this picks up the vibration of the string and sends it to your guitar amp. There's more science involved than that, but that is the basic explanation of what these do and how these work. So this one is the neck pickup, because it's closest to neck. This is the middle pickup, because it's the one in the middle. This is the bridge pickup, because it's closest to the bridge. Now, this little thing here, this is the bridge, and this is also a tremolo. This guitar, not all guitars have these, but this little bar, if you give it a wiggle, is going to change the pitch of the guitar without using the tuners. So it can be something subtle like that, or you could, you can be a bit more intense like that. And the way this works is, again, it's held in by tension. So we've got 2 springs at the back of the body here, which are pulling the strings in one direction, and then your tuners are pulling them in another direction. So what you want to achieve is a happy medium, where the strings, you're not choking out the strings. It's not pulling too much that way. It's so that's how that works. Not all guitars have tremolos though, but they will all have this, and you can see little saddles here. So the strings are going to go through there in a little hole at the back there, come out here, and then they wrap around the tuning pegs. You can change the placement of the saddles, so you can change the height of them, or you can move them back or forth, and this is going to help, in conjunction with your truss rod, this is going to help set your guitar up and find the right intonation for your guitar. Intonation is just really the pitch is, so if you play that open string, but then you play in the 12th fret of your octave, maybe it'll sound flat. It'll sound like that, and you'll think that's not right. That's something to do with the intonation, which can be fixed by either decreasing, changing the truss rod, or moving the saddles, the height, and you can move them back and forth. And just like the tremolo with the tension of the strings, it's finding that happy medium. So that covers that. These little switches here, to be honest, this is quite uncommon. You'll either find they're the pickup selectors. So this one switches this pickup on, this one switches that one on, and this one switches the bridge on. This guitar is very similar to a very iconic guitar called the Fender Stratocaster. You'll have seen it, even if you've never picked up a guitar before, you'll have seen this guitar. It's played by Jimi Hendrix, Eric Clapton, so many guitarists. That usually have a switch which has 5 positions. So you'd have the neck, and then you can combine this, and then the middle would be just for the pickup. The 4th position would be these 2, and then the last one would just be the bridge. This is slightly different. This you can just turn them on with a switch. So you could have 2 on there, 2 on there. You could have these 2 on, which you don't get in a Stratocaster. But I digress. So really, that brings us to the last part of the electronics, which is our volume control. The nice, lovely violin swells there. Um, I've got a little bit of dirt on the amp going here, a little bit of overdrive. It's quite mean, quite aggressive. You can kind of back that off. It's just mellowed it out. So although it changes the volume, also changes the dynamics of the sound of the guitar. And then after that, we've got our tone control. And this is going to make it sound darker or brighter. I think most guitars always have this all the way up, as much high end as possible. But you can get some nice mellower sounds out of it. Maybe you don't want to go to your bridge. Well, that's the other thing. Typically, the pickups will get brighter the closer they are to the bridge. You can see here. So as you can hear, there's a bit more bite, a bit more treble here. So you could use your tone control as well. Instead of switching pickup, you can just use that. So as you can see, it actually kind of gives it a bit of a honky sound. It's a bit different sound as well. But that's what that does. And then last but not least, we have our input jack, or as I recently was corrected, output jack, because the signal is coming out of the guitar into the amp. So, if you want to correct someone, if you're that type of person who likes going around correcting people, that's the output, not the input. And that's where you stick your cable into the amp, and that's you playing guitar, and that's you've got sound. So I'm going to leave it there. Thank you for watching. I hope this was helpful, and enjoy the rest of your day. Thank you.